Here we go with week one of On Top the Cage. The NFL's back. Dan and I are back picking games. Normal routine for the show. We pick all the games against the spread. We do it all over the following week. We talk about how we did the previous week. We'll give you our best bets. And I know the youth bettors, they like prop bets, so maybe we'll give you a prop bet here or here and there. I don't know. I'm not a prop better, but anyway, I know people like it. So just coming off Labor Day weekend. Dan, how was yours?
A lot of eating and drinking.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was fucking hot, like hot here. I think
really hot. It's really hot right now.
Yeah, I bet we're plus. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
80 degrees even here. Yeah, it's warm, man. I had to top off my Bronco all weekend. I know Dan pulled up his tops off, so
still off, yeah.
Still off, yeah. So we had a good weekend too. Yeah. Drinking, grilling, watching college football. College football roared back last week. A few good games. It wasn't too overwhelming, but we'll talk about it in a bit.
Unless you have Spectrum.
Dan has a problem with Spectrum, right? You don't have
ESPN, that liberal ass channel, anyways.
And I have DirecTV here as our main. You should call it cable. I don't know if it's cable, but anyway, we don't have Fox, and my Bears play on Fox. But Dan shared his Spectrum. Who gets Fox? I shared my DirecTV with Dan. He hasn't tried it yet, so we'll see how that shakes.
Yeah, I was 20 beers in yesterday. Didn't realize what he sent me.
Dan wanted to watch the Clemson-Duke game last night, and I sent him the information, but he was too drunk to realize what I sent him, I think.
That was really the only game I missed. We still have the ABC channel comes in because it must be owned or not a Spectrum-owned channel.
Yeah.
So I lucked out there. So really the only channels I'm missing are all the ESPN ones.
Yeah,
Like
I'll
I
get
said,
that. I think I'll be able to get
honks.
that for you. Yeah, that sharing thing works. I don't know what the rule is. I think you get 2 or 3 or 4 people. I don't know exactly how it works. So we'll see how that shakes out. But you got to try that. Did you end up grilling, or did you end up going to people's?
We were at the neighbor's house. I made my smoked mac and cheese, which is phenomenal. I don't think you've ever had that.
I have not. I don't recall having that anyway.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then we went over to my sister-in-law's house, who has a pool, yesterday, and I made homemade coney sauce and 3 packs of hot dogs.
Hot dogs. What brand?
I used Ballpark Bun Length.
Ballpark
yesterday.
Bun Length. I'm a Nathan's guy. Nathan's or Hebrew National guy for sure. So what have we grilled? We grilled chicken over here, buffalo chicken. I made some beer brats. Dan's gonna end up with beer brats after the show.
Fabulous.
I forget what that was on maybe Saturday. I don't know. Yesterday we ended up at Katie's parents. We had ribs and potato salad and baked beans. Traditional Labor Day fare, right?
Yeah. Well, did you look at that recipe I sent you?
What recipe? Maybe I was
From
drunk
the
too.
jalapeno chicken sandwich.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't
Oh,
fucking
my
play. There's a
God.
fucking video, Dan.
What?
You sent a
That's
video.
how you learn how to cook.
I wasn't. I mean,
Holy hell.
you
It
can send me a
was
picture.
so
I wasn't really
good.
down with like watching a video.
Dude.
Although we're asking people to watch a video for our
Yeah,
show,
exactly.
I suppose. So anyway, that
I'm
was
not down with it, but please watch ours.
right. That's right. That was Labor Day weekend for us, I guess. We usually wait to do the beer review. It's hot. I'm ready. And our things are melting. It seems like we got a lot of condensation. Let's do it. Dan, for the first time, has picked the beer, brought the beer.
First
in regards to the
time,
beer.
I'm sure I picked before.
No. Tell us what it is, Dan. That's your part of the show.
My wife and I celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary, and
Woo!
something to do.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man.
We're supposed to be planning a bigger trip, but we went and stayed in a tree house down in Millersburg, and went to the Millersburg Brewing Company and had this one. It's called Tangelicious.
Tangelicious.
And
Millersburg, Amish country, right?
Amish country, yes, and the can is nice, and you had the front of the can, which is the horse's face, and I got the horse's ass showing on the back side.
That's right. Yeah, they have a horse. The horse is on every one of their cans. Tangelicious. What kind of beer is it, Dan? Do you know?
It is a tangerine ale brewed with citrus, 5% alcohol by volume. This is a great beer when it's this hot out.
Yeah?
It tastes awesome.
I'm waiting for you. I don't got much head left on my beer. I don't know what happened. I probably have to go through 2, man. 12 ounces. Usually we do 16-ounce beers.
How many did I bring over?
Oh, fuck. I don't know that one either. Uh-oh.
Oh, delicious.
Delicious?
Well, yeah, but it was better out of the tap there instead of the can.
Or is this? Well, there's a lot of fruit flavor. There certainly is. No. Anyway, Shooting Tuesday, like we are going, at least for the front part of the season. Maybe we'll keep it that way. I don't know. I like Tuesdays. The one thing you don't get, like the injury reports come out on Wednesday and things like that. We usually have that before we shoot the show. But obviously, if you watched last week, it's accommodating Dan's youth football schedule. Let's talk about this. Dan's team got blown the fuck out last week. What happened this
Our
week?
first game, we bounced back with a victory. It was 20-6. Unfortunately, right after halftime, we gave up a garbage touchdown, but kids held on to win.
Squared a record, 1-1. That's
Yeah,
good.
we had 2 huge pass plays. I mean, that kid receiving yards was well over 100.
That's
plus
not
he
really
had
your
massive punt return.
You had a special teams touchdown?
No, but we had a long return on a punt, and then our punter, talking about changing field in Pee Wee football, banged a 60-yarder.
Really?
60 with the roll.
kicked-
I mean, it was a.
What's the roll?
It came
40?
off. It
What was
came
the
off
roll?
his
40?
foot. It was a perfect spiral. I mean, you couldn't believe it.
Was it like a line drive, end over
No,
end
it was
job?
nice.
Come on.
I'll
Come
show.
on,
I'll
60
pull
yard
it
punt.
up. I'll pull it up on
60,
YouTube when
come
we're
on.
done. Just so you
YouTube.
can see it.
Come on, man. I'm
Hey.
not buying 60 yards.
It's a betting show. Do you want to bet?
No. Fuck it. I'll buy it. So, anyway, you still might see.
Why would I bullshit about that?
I don't know.
60 freaking
That seems
yards.
like a lot for a 10-year-old.
I think we were on the 35-yard line. They got it on the 15.
All right.
That's 60 yards?
I think that's 50, but anyway.
Okay,
Maybe.
whatever.
I don't know. Anyway, great punt from his guy over there. So, flip the field for him.
Huge.
So, all right, good stuff.
When we show up, it's hot as hell, and we got 11 guys.
Yeah,
up for
practice.
practice today.
I mean, like wildly hot. But we get a break. I want to say it's Thursday. When football starts, Thursday is our first National Football League game. The weather breaks here. We're like below 80 on Thursday, and we have a pretty like football fallish weekend, which I'm kind of looking forward to after the heat we've had for the last 3-4 days or whatever it is. So, anyway, you still might be seeing me do some gyrations in my shoulder. I still have my shoulder problem, man. You guys know I never go to doctors. I've tried chiropractor,
You should go see the dentist.
masseuse. I got an injection.
Kenny might be able to help you.
Kenny shit. None of it's worked, man. I don't know. And I don't go to doctors unless Mr. Miyagi, I can find him, man. I'll fucking try that guy. So, anyway.
Go see Kenny.
So, that's still a little bit of a problem anyway. So, my wife, she's like a doctor, though. Like, she can't sit in that chair. She takes away my pillows in bed because she thinks I'm too propped up on my neck. Call her Dr. Daly. That's her maiden name, but she has all kinds of ideas. But I'm in the market for a new chair. We know the chair
That
that
chair
sits right
blows.
is so bad. It's so bad. I started looking on Facebook Marketplace at barber chairs.
Did you really?
I did.
Those aren't cheap.
But meanwhile, people are trying to get rid of them. They're bulky and things like that. I don't know if that's what I want, but I can probably get one for $100. It's pretty solid.
Nice.
But we'll see. I don't know. But if I get one,
You cut your own hair?
I do. So do you. Dad, both cut our
Yeah,
own.
I cut my own hair now. We need a barber pole.
Male
in here.
pattern baldness at its best. And dude, if I get a barber chair though, 100% get one of those fucking lights. Those
Oh, yeah.
red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
I love those red, white, and blue swirly lights. I better ride outside. My wife would kill me.
Yeah, no, you need
Anyway,
one of those.
so.
That'd be sweet.
Off a holiday weekend, I tell you what,
I think I
inside.
need one.
What, barber?
I want one of those
barber
lights.
chair and a light? The
I
lights
don't
are
know-
so
I don't know
cool.
about the chair, but I do want the light. Screw
The
it.
lights are super cool. That tube, red, white, and blue swirl. I love it. So,
That beer sign that you gave me,
Mm-hmm.
I got a dude rewiring it.
you do?
Yeah.
How much did that cost you?
He's a retired guy. He texted me over the weekend.
That'd be
He
good,
said he had to order a piece for it. I don't
Dude,
remember.
order a piece sounds like
The
pricey.
flux capacitor or some bullshit. I don't know.
I got Dan this beer sign that he hung up in his fridge for his 50th
Right.
birthday.
Yeah, right
So,
by my kegerator that says ice cold beer served here, and it lights up. Well, the light stopped working, so.
I don't know if he likes that much or just sentimental because it came from me.
No, I do like it, but I was always pissed because it used 2 AAA batteries and the switch never worked, so I could never get the lights to stay on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, I gotta get this thing fixed.
Well, it says cold beer served here, something like that,
Yeah.
with an arrow.
Yeah,
right
there's
right to
an
Dave's
arrow.
kegerator.
It's perfect.
It's well mounted. It was perfect
Yeah.
mounting place for it in your garage. So, anyway, we're on to the next holiday here. I told
Holy
you,
hell.
Ethan loves Halloween. Full blown Halloween inside.
You guys are freaks over
I
here.
tell you how we get those great big things. Ethan got another one. Last year we got something called Mr. Dark. This year there's some huge, enormous fucking thing in the great room by the fireplace. I think its package name is Deathstalker. I don't know, it doesn't even have eyes. It has this big mouth and like smoke comes out of it and stuff. It's insane. Like,
Where'd you get that from?
I think they ordered. I don't know if they ordered or went to that store they call Spirit where they have all that shit. But
There's a house on Turkey Foot, kind of by the Bell store. They have 2 monster freaking things in their front yard. I'm like, it's August and this shit's up already.
People go wild over Halloween.
They're huge, and it's hard to see because they have big trees there, and it's like you probably can't going east. You can see it better than you can from west.
Yeah.
But they got to be like 15-foot tall structures. I mean, like 2 skeleton dudes, and I'm like, where the hell do you keep that shit?
Ethan's not allowed to. I told Ethan the first day he can do is the first day of fall, which I don't know, September 21 or 22. I ban him from putting all that Halloween shit up outside until then at a minimum. So, but inside, like literally, we're on the brink of being able to like host our own fucking haunted house.
Jeez.
Like it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, anyway. How much college football did you get a chance to watch this week?
My fair share.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
You know what's crazy?
I mean, it started Thursday night, right?
It did. It did. Minimal games Thursday. I think a couple games Friday, whatever it was. The best game, I think, was the first game on Saturday, which was Prime's team, Colorado.
That game was so
the Colorado TC, it was unbelievable.
His freaking line for halftime was the Heisman would be chilling at his place.
I was going to talk about that.
Like, holy shit.
I tell you what, yeah, he has that kid, Travis Hunter, on his team. Like, a wild recruit. Like, I think probably the number 1 recruit, 5-star. If you give him 6, he'd probably get 6. But we haven't seen what that kid does, not really on a football field, nor we haven't seen a player play both ways in college football, and I don't recall seeing it ever. And he plays wide receiver and he plays defensive back, and he's fucking great at both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and Dan's alluding to the interview with Deion Sanders, head coach of Colorado, at the half, and they were kind of like, "Hey, what are you gonna do with Travis Hunter trying to control his snap count and things like that?" Deion, 3-word sentence. He is him. He is him.
Yeah.
If you're scoring a home, that's a lot. That's 2 pronouns out of 3 words. I'm wearing my him T-shirt tonight. Justin Fields him. That's his number 1 in the front from the Bears jersey. So anyway, kind of ties
I'm
into
wearing
that
my
stuff.
Yonkos T-shirt tonight because they're celebrating 30-year birthday coming up here, or anniversary this weekend. So I'll be there drinking.
Oh hell yeah, those guys are good, really good people. So that's super awesome. I like the local advertisement from Dan. So anyway, we're close to being on the football. Keaton, my son, who's at OSU Mansfield, satellite. He'll, I'm assuming, make it to Maine next year in Columbus. But anyway, he's really enjoying college. He's got his 5 roommates, and they watched the first season prediction show, and they're going to make it a Wednesday watch party for our show. So.
Great.
So anyway, we'll see how that
they don't
shakes
have
out.
their own going on.
It's your dad acting like a jackass on YouTube. Posterity, baby, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be there forever, I think. So, I don't know. I think we're on to football.
They're close to Millersburg. They can run over and get some beers.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're a little bit, I guess, west of that. But yeah, a little bit outside of Amish country. But yeah, they certainly could.
They might be a little closer than we are.
Dan, what else? You want to talk about anything else before we get on to football?
I'm sure something will pop into my mind here.
I'm sure it will. It always does. Thursday night football starts with surprise
Here
entry
we
for
go.
this game. The Detroit Football Lions traveling to Arrowhead to play the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are 6.5-point favorites. Over under a pretty big number, 54.5. I said Detroit. Surprise entry as far as this game goes, because I think the NFL and NBC has the Thursday night football game this Thursday. I think going forward, Thursday night football is Amazon Prime.
Wait,
I'm
I
almost
thought it was
positive.
Prime. I thought they were
It is,
advertising.
but I think NBC gets the first football game of every year. But I think going forward, I think next week's Thursday night football game, you're going to have to stream it on Prime. So we'll see. But, I guess Detroit's a media darling, if you will. They picked them to play in this game. They were hot at the end of the season. I got a pretty good young roster. They've won 8 out of their last 10 games. Detroit, talk about their away team. They got that Jahmyr Gibbs he was drafted pretty high. I think 10th overall, maybe, or 11th overall, if I'm not mistaken. In the draft, he was the second running back off the board, which is kind of odd considering the running back market. But he's super quick, super fast. I think they're going to use him as a receiver and a weapon, more than even as a running back.
Perfect, mess him up.
But we'll see. And then Kansas City, obviously, proven football team, defending Super Bowl champs. They have 15, and that's a big deal. They have this mishmash cast of characters as wide receivers between, Kadarius Toney. Is he going to step up and be the one? Is it going to be Valdez Scantling? Is it going to be Sky Moore? Is it going to be Rashee Rice, who they drafted this year? I don't know, but obviously the number one target's Kelsey. But did you see the news about Kelsey?
Yeah, he got hurt, hyperextended knee today, I heard.
Yeah, so we have no idea
Well,
if he's going to play.
If he plays, he's on a pitch count. I mean, they're going to be cautious with him. So,
They also have
that's a concern. You don't want to have him.
He's the number one wide receiver. He's
Right.
the number one target
And
for
you
15.
can't have
There's
him
no two ways
screwed
about
up
it.
on the first game. So, I'd be shocked if he plays a lot.
We'll see. It's not like that game's on Sunday. It's 2 days
Right.
from now. It's Thursday, and his injury happened today. So, Chris Jones, they also their best probably defensive player
Yeah,
is
that's a
holding
crazy
out right now.
situation. I don't know how you turn down. What did they give him? 2-year, $54 million guaranteed. I don't understand.
What are we looking for, right?
Yeah,
Are we looking for 4 years and 100? What are we looking for?
Yeah, $54 million
That was
freaking
close.
dollars to play a freaking game.
It's a lot of money,
And
right?
you're losing money now in not showing up, not working out. You're going to miss a game check.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. $54 million. Good grief.
This Arrowhead's a tough place to play, Dan. They're going to hang in this game. Detroit going to hang in this game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Detroit's going to hang it. Kansas City doesn't cover. And I'm not starting this year. I'm picking Detroit because Kansas City's going to win the game, but it ain't going to be by 6.5.
I expect this to be a good game as well. I do believe in the Lions, and they believe in themselves. And I
Yeah.
think
They're
Dan
gonna
Campbell,
come
their
out,
head coach,
yeah.
has instilled that in them. I don't think they're going to be overwhelmed going to what is going to be an absolute raucous atmosphere in Kansas City. Dan and I both taking the points?
Yeah.
Dan, I agree with the first game. That's a good way to start the new season. Next game on the board, not as good a game, I don't think, is the Houston Texans traveling to Baltimore to play the Ravens.
Ratbirds.
There you go. I had to pause for that for Dan. Baltimore.
Quarterback by Mike
Touchdown and field goal favorite, -10 in the game. Over under 43.5. Talk about the away team. This, by the way, starts the Sunday 1 p.m. slate. New team or new quarterback, new head coach in Houston, C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State product. D'Amico Ryans was a former player there. He's a defensive coach. The cover's not exactly full in Houston. And who's Stroud going to throw the ball to? Dan, can you name a wide receiver?
No.
Can you name a wide receiver for the
No.
Houston Texans?
No. The only Houston Texan I can name is C.J. Stroud and D'Amico Ryan.
Right. They drafted that Stingley kid to play cornerback last year, and I don't know. Did they draft? Who drafted Will Anderson? Do you remember? No, it wasn't them. They must have traded. That must be Arizona has him, I think. Anyway, off topic there a little bit. So I think there's some dude named Nico something or another. I think he came out of Michigan, but they don't have weapons, and that's really difficult for a young quarterback. Damian Pierce runs the ball there, whatever. Baltimore. And the overwhelming thing with Baltimore always is Lamar's health, and is he going to stay healthy because he takes some shots and runs around like crazy, and he's a wild athlete. But I'm kind of looking forward to this football team. They have a new offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, from the University of Georgia. He ran their offense, so a collegiate guy coming up to the pro ranks. I think he had some pro experience or
I would
resume.
be fucking fantastic if I was the offensive coordinator of Georgia. Come on.
Oh, they're always
Seriously?
loaded. How about I'd rather be the defensive coordinator. Man, there's stud after stud
either
after
one
stud
of them.
out of that
I
program.
mean, come on, that's an easy freaking job.
So I'm looking forward to see if the Baltimore offense looks different because they haven't had a different offensive coordinator in a long time, and this guy's coming from the college ranks.
He was with the Browns for a while.
Yeah, I think he does have pro background.
He
I really
does.
do. I think you're right about that.
He was a head coach, I think, at one point. I think of the Buccaneers.
I don't think he's head coach, but maybe I don't think he's ever. Maybe I don't know.
I think he was in Atlanta too.
We've always asked for a fact checker behind the scenes, and we don't have one. We still don't have one. Low budget show.
Well, Teddy will text us, but I think
Yeah,
he
right?
was spent some time in Atlanta.
So, they got different weapons there. Odell Beckham Jr. They drafted Zay.
That ain't a weapon.
They drafted Zay Flowers. Dan absolutely hates Baltimore. There's no two ways about it, Dan. Houston going to hang in this game?
No. First year coach, first year quarterback. No. I'm going with the Ratbirds on this.
Baltimore's always prided themselves on a great defense, and I don't think it's that great. But
I don't think it's that great either. I mean, that's where their weak point is this year. But Houston, come on.
I think they'll probably confuse Stroud a couple times.
lot.
They'll probably throw a bad ball. They'll win the turnover battle. I have a hard time not laying the big number of 10 as well. So I'm Dan in agreement on the first two games. I'll go next. I made Dan pick the first two games first. The next game we have is a division battle. A division that's completely up for grabs. There's no two ways to put that. It's the Carolina Panthers traveling to Atlanta. Play the Falcons. The Falcons 3.5-point favorites in this game, over under 39.5. Away team Carolina, they paid a big bounty to my Chicago Football Bears. Are you done with your beer already?
Yeah, I got one more
Holy
sip.
shit. Holy shit.
It's freaking 100 out.
I agree.
I just
They're
came
parched.
off a freaking
Parched. I mean,
football field today.
Yeah.
I had to wear my big hat today, too.
What big hat?
I went to the dermatologist. She froze a bunch of crap off of my ears and my head and stuff.
What
I'm
the
like,
fuck?
man, I can't have any sun
How did this
here.
not make the intro? Wait, what?
Oh, my God. She's
You have one of those-
cancerous cell. Like, look, there. She froze that off.
You mean that big hat like that
my
Washington
beach
Redskin guy
hat.
came up?
No,
Oh,
my,
dude.
my beach hat with the
No way.
Because she got shit. I knew she was going to do my ears. I could feel it.
Did they still, were people laughing at you when they called it Coach? The Coach.
Nobody said shit to me. If they did, I'd make them run.
said-
You know what we did today?
Suicides.
No, I stopped at Mark the Mechanics and picked
Oh,
up
shit.
an old tire,
Yeah?
and we did. I painted
Tire
the field.
roll?
No, I painted the field, and we did tire tug of war. Two dudes in the middle yanking on a tire,
Oh, that went
yank
my
the other
soul.
dude out.
Jesus.
Mano y mano, baby.
That's like Dan's version of the Oklahoma drill he just came up with.
Oh, it was perfect too. It was like 90 degrees when we were doing it, and we did it in the sun because I didn't do it on the field because the lines are painted, so we were off to the side. And, oh yeah, it was sweet.
Dan promised you he'd have stories in the middle of us picking games.
Yeah.
There's your first. We're on this Carolina-Atlanta game. To recap, Atlanta's 3.5-point favorites in this game, 39.5 over-under. Carolina, they paid the bounty to Chicago. They got Bryce Young. They got their pick, the pick of the litter of the quarterbacks. They chose Bryce Young. He's smaller. He was a dynamic playmaker at Bama. They have offensive line issues in Carolina for sure. The cupboard's a little bit empty at wide receiver. They gave their best receiver, DJ Moore, to Chicago Bears in that trade. So I'm a little concerned about Bryce Young in an offensive line. Also, their best defensive player, Brian Burns, is unhappy. I don't think he's going to play. He's holding out for a contract.
They're
So
a mess.
we'll see. And then you got
I'm
Atlanta.
surprised the line is 3.5.
Yeah. Let's talk about Atlanta, though. I picked them to win this division. A division that, like I said, anybody can win. And they got Desmond Ritter, who's going to be the quarterback. And most times, young quarterbacks, I know this is Desmond Ritter's second year. And he wasn't like a wildly heralded quarterback coming in. I want to say he was a second-round pick. I'm not positive of that right now.
Probably. I think he was probably 5 years at Cincinnati because of the COVID year.
Maybe.
Got extra time.
And when these guys come in the league, usually they come to really shitty teams. And I'm not saying Atlanta's a great team by any means, but usually they come to teams that don't have any weapons, which makes it even more difficult. This team has
team's
weapons.
loaded.
Drake London.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts.
Don't be an idiot.
Bijan Robinson running the football. This team has weapons. And that's why I like them to win this division. They're minus 3.5. I have a feeling from what Dan said earlier, we're going the same way 3 games in a row.
Absolutely.
I'm going to pick the Dirty Birds to cover the number.
Yep. I'm
Huh?
going that way.
Dan agreed on the first 3 games. Here we go. Next game up. Dan will get back into the set quickly because it's the Battle of Ohio. It is the Cincinnati Bengals traveling 4 hours by car north to Cleveland.
Shouldn't be 4 hours, but that stupid trip from Cincinnati to Columbus is freaking dragged 2-lane highway.
Oh God, there's construction everywhere.
Jeez.
100% construction everywhere. Cincinnati has been installed as a 2.5-point favorite coming up to Cleveland. The over/under on the game is 47.5. Away team first. It's always about Joe Burrow and his health. I think he's fine. Like the dude doesn't do training camp. Like the last year or 2 in a row, he's like, "Fuck it, I got some mild injury. I'm not playing." You know, type of thing. But then he's perfectly fine. I no doubts that Joe Burrow is going to play in this game, right?
Oh, I totally think he's going to play, but, I mean, you're going to knock a little bit of rust off there.
I
Hasn't been touched yet. I mean,
I agree with that.
he doesn't play good against Miles.
I hesitate just short of saying they're a fairly proven football team. 2 years ago, they went to the Super Bowl. Last year, they were the AFC runner-up. They lost to Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl. They have O-line issues. The ball comes out pretty quick in Cincinnati because of their O-line issues and making sure Burrow stays upright. They have a great wide receiver core.
I think they got some defensive issues because they lost some people. They can't keep all them dudes around.
Let's talk about your Cleveland Football Browns. You go first.
Defense. They had to fix the defense because we sucked.
What do you think about Jim Schwartz?
I'll take him. I don't have a problem with him. He's old school.
He
plays.
is polarizing coach, but his players seem to play their asses off for him. And this team, really, I know we got local flavor here. Really freaking good football team on paper. Like, really good. It all comes down to 4. If Deshaun Watson is going to look like he did 2020. We had a sample size last year. It wasn't great. But meanwhile, he hadn't played football in forever.
Right.
The Browns obviously paid a huge premium to have Deshaun Watson. They need him to pay off. They've shoved kind of their chips into the center of the table with this team, with him. So he's hard to trust right now, and a team that's hard to trust and difficult to trust. But damn, they're talented. Recap: Cincinnati -2.5. I'm taking the lead. Woof, woof, woof. I think the Browns win this football game.
I'm going with them too, but and I'm going to throw this out there: the Browns suck on opening day.
Well,
their record, but
Dan kind of giving you a stat there. I'll give you a stat. Joe Burrow has struggled against the Cleveland Browns. He is 1-4 as a starter against the Cleveland Football Browns,
and he does not play good in Cleveland.
So we're both on the Browns. 4 for 4. Holy cow! By the way, another story. My wife, who kind of loves to bet on her, whatever, FanDuel or DraftKings or Bet365, whatever she's using, maybe all of them, I don't know. She claimed that she said every game that Dan and I picked together, she was going to put in a parlay. So I'm like, that's not a good idea. Frankly, that's a really fucking bad idea. Maybe just take our elephant picks and hopefully they both hit. We'll see. But I'm like, you're going to talk about, 6-8 team parlay, which probably not going to happen, or maybe more. Dan and I are off to. It's kind of bizarre. We haven't went. I think the most we've ever won is probably 6 games having the same picks. We're 4 in a row. Next game up, a super interesting game to me. I think it's going to be a great game. It is the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. San Francisco 2.5-point favorites in this game, over under 40.5. Intriguing game to me because to me this is the best game of the weekend. You think so?
2 great defenses, 2 second-year quarterbacks. One coming off an injury where he couldn't throw.
Purdy and Pickett, yeah.
Did he come back too early? We're gonna find out.
Shanahan says he's pretty fine, and me blabbering over Kyle Shanahan, thinking he's the best offensive mind in college or in football. They got some other problems though. They got a new defensive coordinator because DeMeco Ryans got the head coaching job at Houston. Mm-hmm. Steve Wilkes is the defensive coordinator there. Bosa, I don't know if he's going to play. I think
because of the contract shit.
Yeah, he wants a contract, but I know I saw something that Pittsburgh says they expect Bosa to play. I think he's probably going to be on the field. Kittle has a groin injury. We don't know if he's going to play. And then let's talk about Pittsburgh.
Did he have a groin injury last year?
I fucking love that guy. And he loves the Chicago Bears, too. Maybe that's part of the reason why I love him. But he's such like an old school football player. Anyway, he would have his hat on backwards immediately on this set and probably shotgunning beers if we could somehow get him as a guest. I don't think that's going to ever happen. But anyway, I was blabbering over the Pittsburgh Steelers in preseason and how good second-year quarterback Kenny Pickett looked.
In preseason.
I agree.
You're blabbering like a freaking little girl.
But you watch.
Are you from Pittsburgh?
No, I'm from Illinois. Everybody knows that on the show.
Sound like you're from Pittsburgh.
I watch enough football.
You ever say yins?
No.
Okay.
I like panini sandwiches though.
Well, who does?
That caused me a problem.
Freaking put French fries on a sandwich.
Fucking great.
Lunch meat sandwich.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
I watch enough football. He looks the part of a starting National Football League quarterback
in the
to me.
preseason.
Okay. He didn't look that bad year one, and he looked really.
What flavor do you like of the Kool-Aid?
George Pickens. I'm going to ignore that comment from Dan. George Pickens, I think, may be on the verge of stardom. We'll see. If Pickett is a quarterback, Pickens is a wild athlete. If he can stay out of trouble, he got in a little bit of trouble at Georgia, and that was always kind of the wild card with him, and that's why he fell to the middle of the second round when Pittsburgh got him. And by the way, Pittsburgh's great at drafting second round wide receivers. They seem to hit on every one of them.
And
anyway, and they got
a lot
T.J.
of
Watt,
them
good
turned into
defense. They got
idiots.
Tomlin. I don't know. I think this team is going to factor into that AFC North. Is that what it's called? North?
Yeah,
Right,
shit.
right.
The AFC North is the best division.
San Francisco minus 2.5. Dan, you want me to take the lead?
No.
You know where I'm going. I think Pittsburgh wins this game outright.
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh because of the home team.
5 for 5. The line's short enough. I play Pittsburgh money line on this game. If you want to get a little bit of plus money for your bets. The next game on the board, maybe not as intriguing as the Arizona Cardinals traveling to our nation's capital to play the Washington Commanders. I figured it out after 2 years. I can call them the Commanders now, even though it might change next year because they have new ownership. Dan Snyder finally out. I think there's some sort of conglomerate that owns the team now, if you will. But Washington,
Yeah, for how many $1 billion? I mean, it's not one dude writing a check.
it's the team in the nation's capital. If they ever get good, it's worth a lot more than that, probably. Washington, full touchdown favorites, -7, over under 38.5. Arizona, oh my God.
They're a freaking mess.
Who's going to play quarterback?
I don't
Dan?
know.
I don't
Jacoby
think.
Brissett?
No.
Or not,
Dobbs.
no.
You mean Dobbs. They made a late preseason trade with the
Isn't
Cleveland Browns.
Jacoby is on Washington's team?
He is.
Yeah.
He-
No, this team.
He's not a quarterback.
Arizona's a mess.
They absolutely are. I'm not positive who the quarterback's going to be. I think it's going to be Joshua Dobbs, who they made a late preseason trade with the Cleveland Browns to bring in. They cut Colt McCoy, who people thought was going to start. Obviously, we're talking about Kyler Murray. I don't think Kyler Murray's going to play this season. We don't know.
What's wrong with him?
I forget what his injury is, but I think it's an ACL. I don't think he plays. I think this is a tank season for the Arizona Cardinals.
To get the kid from USC.
Who? What? Oh, to get Caleb Williams. He's talking about the quarterback, Caleb Williams.
They're going to swing and whiff again on the quarterback.
What about Shadur Sanders?
Well, hey.
How about that guy coming out now? That they were so impressive, but we're not talking college football right now. Meanwhile, I do think this is a tank season. It's probably the least talented roster in the National Football League, speaking of the Arizona Cardinals. And then we got Washington. Washington, I'm going to talk more preseason stuff, and Dan's going to be like, preseason. But Sam Howell looked pretty good. Rave reviews out of there. Eric Bieniemy's the new play caller there.
Where's Chase Young?
I don't know if he plays or not. They have a very good defense, whether or not Chase plays or not. They have a really good defense, Dan.
Is what's his name, Del Rio, still the defensive coordinator?
I'm not positive, man. I can give you Ron Rivera as the head coach. I can give you Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator. I cannot give you the defensive coordinator, but maybe he deserves a job. Oh, Jack Del Rio was a mess, though, when he was head coach. What, Jacksonville? I don't know. Anyway, Washington.
He doesn't deserve to be the defensive coordinator of that team because they're freaking loaded.
They are loaded, man. Loaded in the middle. They're loaded on all levels. They're a really good defensive team, and who knows? Maybe Sam Howell plays well, and they factor into this division, a pretty good division. Dan's going to bark again because he hates Cowboys, hates Giants, hates Philadelphia, hates all that shit. But anyway, he largely hates the division because Dallas shows locally all the time as the nation's team, if you will. Anyway, that's the Washington Commanders, baby. They're the nation's team. They're -7. I think they're going to blow Arizona out. I think Sam Howell looks good. I think Jahan Dotson, their second year receiver, comes to life a little bit this year with Howell throwing the ball. They have Terry McLaurin. They have some players. I like this team a lot. I'm on Washington, giving the full touchdown.
Washington.
All right, and we are 6 for 6, Dan. Mm-hmm. Next game up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Minnesota. That used to be a division game a lot of years ago. Tampa Bay used to be in the Bears division with Minnesota, Green Bay. Anyway, Minnesota -6 in this game, over under 45.5. Tampa Bay.
Baker Mayfield. Mayfield.
Whatever. Here's the deal with Tampa Bay. They got a pretty talented defense. They do. And they got some playmakers. They have a problem at quarterback. I mean, they have a problem. I mean, they have such a lackluster quarterback situation there.
Is Mike Evans playing? Did he get a new contract?
Evans unhappy with his contract. They have Godwin. They have playmakers. I don't know who exactly is going to run the ball there. We'll see who emerges, whether or not it's that white kid or who it's going to be, because Fournette's no longer there. But that's Tampa Bay. I mean, they have a pretty talented defense, but a huge question mark at the quarterback position. And then the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, it's the same team. They're running it back. They added to their pretty talented wide receiver core in Jordan Addison out of USC. I think he's going to be a player, and I think they have the best receiver in the National Football League. He goes by the name of Justin Jefferson. Kirk Cousins is quarterback there. This is a team that won 13 games last year, and get this, had a negative point differential, meaning they gave up more points than they scored over the course of the season and still won 13 games. That luck's going to run out at some point in time, but they're -6 against this team.
I'm tempted. Baker will have flashes, and everybody will think everything's great. I'm going to Tampa Bay in this.
Shit. So am I. So am I. So am I. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're probably tired of me counting 7. Next game on the board. We still continue. We got a couple more games with the 1 o'clock slate. Divisional game, Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Jacksonville's a 5-point favorite in this game, over under 45.5. Away team, Jacksonville. Dan, I love this team.
I'm surprised at this line on this game.
I considered picking this Jacksonville football team to make it to the Super Bowl. I did. In our season prediction show last week, I think they're that good. I think they're that well coached. I think Trevor Lawrence becomes an absolute star in the National Football League this year. I mean, he was emerging last year in regards to that. They got that great, remember that awesome comeback win they had in the wild card game against the Chargers? They got a lot of firepower on offense. They get Calvin Ridley, who's still fairly young. I mean, off his 1-year gambling suspension. I mean, they got all the pieces on offense. They're not a horrible defensive team. And then we got Indianapolis. They got a wild card rookie quarterback. Well, I don't know about train wreck. They got a wild card rookie quarterback in Anthony Richardson, who has all the measurables, right? So he gets drafted super high. There wasn't a lot of production out of the University of Florida, but I mean, a freak fucking athlete.
He's freak.
I mean, he's huge. He runs like a 4.4. I heard they're going to run some option. I don't know what we're going to see. They got a new head coach in Indianapolis who was the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, which is Steichen, I think his last name is, or Steichen.
Was he there last year?
No, this is his first year. Brand new regime. So, I will see.
Who was there last year?
Frank Reich, who's the new
Did he get
Carolina.
fired in the middle of the season?
He did. Remember they brought in the former player, Jeff Saturday?
Oh, yeah.
There was all that hubbub about that and like old boy stuff with Jim Irsay loving Jeff Saturday because he was his drinking buddy and shit like that. Remember all that? Anyway, Steichen has a job. There's no Jonathan Taylor. We speak a lot of holdouts and disgruntled players.
He sucked last year.
Taylor?
Yeah.
He's still a quality.
He
okay,
sucked
fine.
last year.
He was nicked up a lot.
But awful. I mean, dude, I don't know why you're holding out and want to. But Indy, okay, we'll trade you, but we want a first-round pick for you. Wait, this is the same guy you don't want to pay, but you want a first-round pick for him?
I hear you.
What the hell? That's stupid. They're a mess.
Where you going, Dan?
Jacksonville. New coach, brand new quarter. I'm going with Jacksonville.
I think Anthony Richardson makes a mistake too. I think this game's going to be close early because I think the Indianapolis is going to trick Jacksonville a little bit. They're going to run some option bullshit and things like this, and it's close. But I think the talent of the Jacksonville football team wins out. They cover this thing by a touchdown. I'm going Jacksonville as well. Then I still only have one. Do we any? Shit, I keep talking about that.
I think we're the same all
right.
the way through.
The last of the 1 o'clock slate is the Tennessee Titans traveling to New Orleans to play the Saints. New Orleans a 3-point favorite over under this game, 41.5. Tennessee, kind of the same football team. I mean, tough defensive football team, very well coached. We both love Mike Vrabel. I think he's top 3 coaches in the National Football League. They don't have much firepower on offense, if you ask me.
Other than handing the ball off 100 times.
I don't like that.
What are we watching? Some porn.
No. Start talking about this game, Dan. Oh, there we go.
Well, I mean, you said it. There's no weapons on offense at all. The defense will be solid. And then on New Orleans, you got Olave, Derek Carr, obviously, the new quarterback. And then what about Michael Thomas? Is he going to play this year? Or
that's
did he have some hardware issues with his ankle? Or
he's getting up there in age. I mean, is he going to be 75% of himself? What is he going to be? I think Chris Olave becomes a superstar. Derek Carr's a new quarterback, like Dan said. As far as flipping back and forth, Tennessee did add DeAndre Hopkins in regards to the wide receiver core. but he's aging as well. I don't know about this game. I mean, there's no Alvin Kamara. He's still serving that 4-game suspension because he
for
beat
beating
somebody up
somebody,
at the Pro Bowl or whatever the situation
Idiot.
was. I don't know.
Do they? What's that other? The quarterback,
For who?
New Orleans.
Derek Carr.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. Yeah. They have Jameis there as well. They have all these guys here. So I don't know. New Orleans -3 is sure enough for me. I'm taking the Saints.
I'm taking Tennessee in this one.
Yeah, our first game different. There we go. Finally. Let's see what we got coming up on the board. Sunday, 4 p.m. slate. Dan, I'm going to need a beer here soon. It is the Vegas Raiders traveling in division to play the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are 4-point favorites in this game, over under 44.5. The Raiders. Garoppolo is the quarterback there. Always ouchie. They drafted some kid like in the 4th or 5th round. I want to say his name is Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue, who shined in preseason. Dan loves preseason football. So anyway, I don't think the Raiders have a really talented roster. I don't.
No.
But Denver, I mean, we got a new regime there. Sean Payton takes over. Proven coach. Was kind of an asshole in the offseason, kind of like railed on Nathaniel Hackett, which, I mean, I don't know how that served any purpose at all or did any good for anybody. He apologized afterwards, but still. And then we see Russ. Is Russ washed? What's his team up? They're ouchie at wide receiver again.
Yeah.
Hamler's out. Jerry Judy's nicked. I don't know if Judy's playing. Raiders at Denver. Denver -4.
Raiders.
Me too. I'm taking the points at the Raiders. That's where I was going. 4 p.m. slate continues with, I think, Dan mentioned he thought the San Francisco-Pittsburgh game was the best game on the board. I think it's the second best game on the board. I think the best game on the board is this next game coming up. It is the in-laws team. It is the Miami Dolphins traveling all the way across the country to play the Los Angeles Chargers.
What bear you want?
It doesn't matter. The Chargers are 3-point favorites in this game. I think it's going to be a great game. Over under 50.5. Big numbers. Both these offenses can put up points.
You got this ginger lime. I mean,
No. Just give me one of.
Miller Lite.
Give me the Bud. No, give me a Bud Light because you're going to drink those. Give me one of those other bullshit beers. I don't care. Give me anything.
Nothing up here.
Oh,
You want an October?
that's fine. You got to open it for me. Flipping beers around. Delay and everything that's going on here,
Or you
but
want your drink?
no, I don't want my drink.
Why?
This guy's struggling over here. Right in the in-laws game, they're like, what the hell? We got all kinds of disturbance going on. Our game. Listen, this.
I have to wait for my excellent commentary.
Yeah,
Where
this.
the hell's your bottle over
There's one on the wall. There's one that's bare head. Oh, you can use that one too. That's the third one. I didn't know we had 3 here. I forgot. In any event, the Miami Dolphins, a really, really talented football team on both sides of the ball. I think they have the best. I think they're the top 2 best receiver, core, if you will. I mean, Cincinnati has an argument here with Chase Higgins and Boyd, but trying to face Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle is another thing. And this team's season is going to come down to Tua's health. They play in a great division with Baltimore, the Jets, and themselves, and then New England, who's always a steady football team. They added Vic Fangio. I think he's going to add a defense. It kind of hurts that Jalen Ramsey's out at the beginning of the season because they have a gauntlet of an opening part of their season. They play some really tough teams, and it starts here with the Chargers. Let's talk about the Chargers. The Chargers, to me, are like the Cleveland Browns with shinier uniforms.
Yep.
I tell you what, they're a super talented football team, especially on offense, like wildly talented. They had that great big wide receiver dude out of TCU, Quentin Johnson. Justin Herbert's a stud. I don't think there's any 2 ways about that. He's a really good quarterback. The defense has playmakers on it. And let's start with Derwin James, who is just kind of a Swiss Army knife, do it all from like that safety position and safety linebacker. I don't know what you want to call him. But they're a really good football team. The Chargers are -3 in this game.
Well, you missed Kellen Moore, the new offensive coordinator from the Cowboys.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think a lot about Brandon Staley. So here,
No, he's a defensive coach. I mean, that's been the Chargers' downfall to me. They go for it way too much when I think they should punt or
It's
kick
ridiculous.
a field goal. I mean, flipping the field and playing
Barring that
defense.
team, barring the Chargers making it to like the AFC Championship game, I think Brandon Staley loses his job. I don't know if Kellen Moore gets it. We'll see how it goes. But they're a very talented football team that have been for the last couple of years, who have disappointed come playoff time or not making the playoffs. I feel like 2 years ago they had that situation where they lost that game, and then Pittsburgh ended up going in. They didn't go in. A freaking crazy game. And then last year they blew like a 27-point lead in Jax and bowed out of the playoffs in the wild card round. I think this is Brandon Staley's last hurrah, if you will. But they're a talented football team too. Chargers -3. Who's going to win, Dan?
I'm going to go with the Chargers because they're at home.
Me too in the long trip. I apologize to the in-laws. I think it's the best game on the board. It could go either way. I'm going to lay the 3. I was hoping it was going to be 2.5. Dan, start thinking about your elephant picks. Although we got a few games to go. We're both on the Chargers -3. Next game on the board, the Los Angeles Rams travel to Seattle to play the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle 5.5-point favorites in this game, over under 46.5. The Rams, aging roster, Matthew Stafford. They tried to trade him in the offseason. Nobody would
What's
take
the over
him.
and under in Matthew Stafford getting hurt in this game and not playing the rest of the year?
No, well, let's talk about Cooper Kupp. I don't think he's playing, which is the primary weapon. He's been going to different specialists and things like that. They're a team that's resetting. They're a bottom-tier football team. And the other thing with them resetting this roster, they don't have draft capital.
No.
Because they kept trading it away. I mean, don't get me wrong, they got a
I
chip out
said
of
it last week. That was the rage about how to run a team, and now they suck.
But don't get me wrong.
They're in hell.
2 years ago, they got a chip. So, that accounts for something. Seattle. Gino going to repeat that performance from last year, Dan?
Probably not.
He's got a great receiving core. DK Metcalf,
now,
Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, that team's good.
They added Jackson Smith and Jigba, who I like a lot. I think
Is he playing now?
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know. He
I thought
didn't
he
play
was
much in
supposed
the
to have a wrist
preseason.
surgery
I
or
think he's gonna be
something.
up. We don't have the injury report. That is kind of up in the air. They haven't said whether or not he's going to be on the field first week, but I think he fits perfectly in the slot. Anyway, I think they're a pretty good football team. They got a pretty good defense. I think this team, if Gino plays steady again, I think they could challenge San Francisco for this division. They're minus 5.5 in this game. I will take the lead. I made Dan do a lot. I'm laying the 5.5. I think the Rams are a horrible football
They
team.
suck. I'm going with Seattle as well.
It is a division game, but I'm still going to lay the 5.5 points. Next game, a very interesting game, I think, to me. Most people might not think it is, but I think it's an interesting game. And it's at the 4 o'clock level, and it's not supposed to be because it's in New England. It's Philadelphia, the defending NFC champions, traveling New England up the coast to play the New England Patriots. Philadelphia, 3.5-point favorites in this game, over under 45.5. Like I said, Philadelphia, Super Bowl runner-ups.
I mean,
Great football team.
Did something drastically change at New England that I'm not aware of?
I think so. But we talk about
Bill O'Brien is there.
Yep, that's what we're
What
going to
other weapons did they pick up?
Not a lot. Juju, I think, is on that team, but big deal, right?
That's not a big deal.
Anyway, Philadelphia, Super Bowl runner-up, great team. Jalen Hurts, they got weapons. I think Devontae Smith takes a step forward again this year, maybe into like superstar status. They are going to run out like the University of Georgia football defense from 2021 to 2022. It's fucking nuts how many Georgia football players they have on their defense that are playing. New England, Dan just mentioned it, well coached, good defense. The biggest thing is that they have a competent offensive coordinator now. Matt Patricia running the offense and Mac Jones was an absolute train wreck. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Bill O'Brien was the offensive coordinator in Bama when Mac Jones was there. They kind of reunite them. We'll see. I don't know. It's a wild card. But here's the thing with me on this game. Bill got 6 months to work on the game plan. And I believe Bill Belichick.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and Vegas usually has these games pretty good. I mean, I'm going with New England on this. Bill Belichick at home.
I thought for sure you're going Philadelphia. I'm going down as well. I think this is a scary opening game, and Bill having 6 months to prepare for this Philadelphia football team. I think they're going to throw some wrinkles. Maybe it's a blowout because Philadelphia's a more talented team. I don't think there's any way of getting around that. Next game on the board is the oldest rivalry in the National Football League. It is the Green Bay Packers traveling to Soldier Field to play my Chicago Football Bears. I can't wait. Obviously, they put it in a primetime slot. The 4 o'clock game, normally the Bears play their games at 1 Eastern. Anyway, the line is short. Chicago -1, over under 43.5. Green Bay, talking about them. Jordan Love finally gets a shot. He looked pretty good in preseason. Dan loves it when I say that. They have a really young football team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Christian Watson, I think if Jordan Love's a quarterback, could become a superstar in the league as well. We'll see. I mean, there's quite a few budding players that have this possibility, and we'll see if it shakes. And it's largely based upon the quarterback.
Largely.
They have a good running tandem in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, that bulldozer of a back. The Chicago Football Bears, it is Justin Fields, year 3, put up or shut up. They finally got him the number 1 wide receiver. It came in the bounty of picks and players that they got from Carolina. For Carolina to trade up from 9-1 to draft Bryce Young overall. The Bears got DJ Moore as part of that package. He's been as advertised in preseason. They have night and day wide receiver core from last year. The wide receiver core now is DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney. It's pretty good. And I would challenge. It's certainly, I would think, the second best in that division, maybe up against Jefferson and Addison. In any event, there's no excuse for Justin Fields this year. We'll see. Can they get to the pass? The passer? They really don't have a lot of talent at the defensive end position and getting home. But we'll see. Chicago -1.
Chicago.
I'm not straying away from it. I bet it early because I'm a junkie and I was super excited for the football season. I bet it at 2.5, which is a really bad number for myself. But hopefully the Bears win this game by a field goal. And I wouldn't say mercifully, but I feel like the show's running pretty long. We are on to Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football. Dan loves this shit. The Dallas Cowboys
NFC
traveling
East,
in division to go play the New York Giants. Dallas 3.5-point favorites in this game in New York. Over under is 46.5. Dallas.
Mike McCarthy calling the plays.
I don't like that.
Nope.
They're a super talented football team, man, and they are. But meanwhile, they disappoint every fucking year, Dan.
Yeah.
Every year they disappoint. Is this going to be a year they don't? I mean, C.D. Lamb is the wide receiver.
Disappoint.
It's the primary wide receiver. They added Brandon Cooks. Dak Prescott's a quarterback.
They added Trey
They did
Lance.
that weird Trey. How about Jerry Jones did that shit by himself?
Yeah.
He thought that was a great deal. And meanwhile, San Francisco said that was a great offer.
Yeah.
So, man,
Thanks,
Jerry,
Jerry.
maybe you should consult with a few people before you, just pick up the fucking bat phone and say, yeah, fuck it. We're going to throw our fourth at that. They're like, done? Anyway, John Lynch was like, we're in. Anyway, he's the GM for the 49ers, if you missed that. But anyway, the Giants. This is Daboll year 2. I mean, a surprise playoff team last year under Brian Daboll. I think he's a really good coach. They gave Daniel Jones a contract, which is a little scary.
It's really scary. They had Saquon Barkley issues.
He's playing. He signed his 1-year gig or whatever
They're
it was.
a gadget team. I mean, they won last year doing gadgets and trick play shit.
Added Darren Waller. Darren Waller's a tight end, but he's more like DK Metcalf, like a great big wide receiver.
Right.
I think he's wide receiver 1 there. Dallas -3.5. You gonna buy the hype, Dan?
I mean, Dallas has owned the Giants, but the Giants have sucked. Or I can't remember if it was a Dak Prescott stat that I heard this morning about his record against the Giants, but it's like
It's bad.
no, it's
That's
good
great. It's
because they blow. I mean, it's like Aaron Rodgers against the Bears or the
Right.
Lions, and I'm like, it's
Hey, no
freaking
need
stupid.
to fucking pile on, Dan.
Or
God
Ben
damn.
Roethlisberger
God
against
damn.
the Browns.
All right, fine.
You know.
We're even now.
I can't stand Dallas, but
They're the better football team.
I know I'm going with the Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys? I'm going with them as well. This is annoying. We got to recap this. Monday Night Football. Who's got the call? Joe and Troy? No?
I probably
don't
won't
know.
get to
I
watch
don't
it
even know.
because it's on ESPN.
You got to try my thing. Did you watch? This is a great football game, too. I think it's a great football game.
I'll listen to it on the radio. Westwood 1, baby.
AM, FM, baby.
Yeah.
Transistor, Dan?
I'll probably use Alexa for that. Oh.
Yeah. Dan has old school radio. Like, I've seen it. Old
Hell yeah.
AF radio in
Never
his garage
fails.
that he uses. Dan loves it. You got 2 TVs in your garage as well, right?
Oh man, Friday night it's high school headquarters.
That's where I was going.
2 TVs
And a radio, right?
and a radio. And
Alexa,
I
fuck it.
got, yeah. Yep.
That's hard to keep
If I
track
have
of.
to, I can hook up my phone to the little Bose thing too.
I hear. I'm getting used to it too. It's kind of hard. We've had both the TVs going as well out here the last weekend or so. My wife kind of not fallen in love with soccer, but she loves Messi and she likes watching Inter Miami games, the Crew games, and then there's football on. A lot going on. So it's a heavy sports season right now as we enter just past Labor Day weekend. So, but next game on the board, as we're both on the Cowboys, Buffalo traveling to play the New York Jets. Obviously marquee game, and it was the biggest transaction that happened in the offseason with Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. And anyway, Buffalo, very good football team, -2.5. They go there. The over/under is 46.5. Buffalo, not much change there, but not really much had to change.
Leslie Frazier.
Yeah, where's he? Is he in the league?
I don't know.
Maybe it's
No clue where he's at.
Maybe it's addition by subtraction, Dan. I don't know, but
I doubt it.
they have Josh Allen. Obviously, he's one of the really great quarterbacks in the National Football League. And we have this Jets football team. This Jets football team, who has arguably the best defense in the National Football League. They have Garrett Wilson, who I think is going to be an absolute stud. And now they have a quarterback, and that is Aaron Rodgers. I hate to say it, but if they keep him upright, he's going to pick some people apart with the weapons they have and the short fields they get with that very good defense. I picked the Jets to win this division. Buffalo's -2.5 in this game.
Buffalo.
I'm gonna stay with my conviction. I think the Jets win this football game outright. They
going with
started
Buffalo.
off. So
Buffalo.
we have very few games different, Dan. That's one of them. My wife just walked out here to make a drink, and I don't think you want to play this parlay because it's going to be like 13. I think Dan and I have 3 or 4
Now,
games
it's
different
what
at type.
she and I pick.
No, she was going. What she had originally said to me was that every game that we pick together that we agree upon.
Who? Me and you?
Yes, correct.
Oh.
That's wrong tense, but anyway. Every game that we agree upon, she was going to put in a parlay. I'm like, it's a bad idea, but we're on to elephant picks, baby. Best bets is what that means on this show. That's been coined from season 1. Who we like, Dan? I got a scan too.
The first one that jumps off to me is Seattle.
I gotta look. I'm gonna scan for a hot bet. This is gonna take a minute for me.
I think the only other game we're different on is Tennessee and New Orleans.
Jets.
Said somebody from the crowd.
You got yours, Dan?
Yeah,
What do you got?
Atlanta.
I love it. Division game. I think that's a very good pick as well. I am gonna go with the Washington Commanders.
That's another good one.
-7 in this football game. I think Arizona's tanking. I think the players can feel it. I think I'm going to buy a little bit of hype out of preseason from Sam Howell in that quarterback position. I like them to cover this game. I like them to win by 10 points or more. Those are our best bets for the game. Hey, let's have a great season. It was super fun. It's fun to be back. Back next week, we get the results, everything like that. As far as
Are
college
we doing
football
a
goes,
college game?
we're not. The best game on the board. I ran out of space. I didn't have my ruler because I did it from home because I wasn't at work on Monday, and you got me shooting the show on Tuesday. With that being said, the very best football game on the college football schedule, who knows if it plays out that way, is Texas at Alabama. That game is on at 7:30 at night. So have a great, first week of the National Football League season. We'll be back. We'll talk about everything that happened. Hopefully Dan and I got it right for us. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening.